Hi, welcome to Dean Park. I've not done a layout tour for some time now, and since my last one there's a few new subscribers to my channel. So welcome to everyone who's joined me recently. I hope you enjoy what I do, and if you have any questions, get in touch. This layout tour will start at the station side and work its way around to the depot, and I'll give you an insight into what I'm doing with that over the next few months. Hope you enjoy. Cheers just now. The first bit of the layout to really be scenic was this area here, which loosely represents the tunnel entrances to Waverley Station in Edinburgh. The signal box there is an exact replica of the one at Edinburgh Waverley, which is now disused. I got rough plans from somebody years ago, and I've obviously scratch built and a replica of the real thing. It's got full interiors as well, and it's fully lit. The flats at the back, they are low relief flats against the ID back scenes. These are a kit from Scale Scenes, which I've adapted to put at a slight angle so they don't just sit flat against the backboards. This area here isn't easily viewed from the front of the layout. You've kind of got to peer into it, but when you do, you get some details such as the waste bins from some of the residents, a couple of bikes propped up there, and a guy relieving himself in the garden, so I'm sure he's popular with the other residents. Okay, looking at this scene here very quickly, I've got graffiti on the walls to give that suburban scene. I've got rusty bits of rail by the side of the track. I've got your speed signs there. I've got these overhead masts to replicate the overhead catenary that you'd find on the main lines now. I've got the cable trunking there, taking the cables from coloured signals to the next signal, etc., and that's been covered in undergrowth and stuff just to look like it's been there for a while. The coloured signals are all automated, so when a train goes past it goes to red. In this case it's a double yellow, and then when I push the sensor on the track there, the little infrared, it goes to red. That'll stay at red until the train passes the next signal, and that one will go to red, and then this will go to your yellow, and so through the cycle it goes. This is the very end of the scenic part of the layout at the west end, if you like, of the station. This bit will be a town scene eventually with embankments and stuff. There's the relay boxes here with the graffiti, and they will store line side electronic equipment. I've even obviously given it a bit of weathering as well. This is one of my favourite views. It's the entrance to the station with the big arched station roof. I've got 6 platforms. The one there with the HST, that's platform 6, which is the longest platform, and the shortest one to the far right of the camera there is a short platform 1, just for a 3-carriage multiple unit. All the tracks have been weathered using some sleeper grime and some roof dirt along with some oil spills, but they'll be getting a more worn and grubby look in the future as well, just as I build up the levels of grime. All the equipment next to the track, the point motors, which are just dummies, point heaters to stop obviously the points freezing in the winter. You've got old style speed signs there, and there's coupled in with the newer ones with obviously the red circle round them, which I'll show you shortly. I've also got some more of this cable trunking and some orange conduit there to take the wires under the track, which has all been weathered in to give it a realistic appearance. And then I've got more relay boxes and obviously copious amounts of signals because it's round about a station. Moving into the station area itself, we've got, starting at the back, we've got the big retaining wall that separates the upper main lines from the station area. These stonework closely resemble the ones used at Edinburgh. The platforms were built by me using a wooden frame covered in card with brick texture paper, and the big roof, which is 1.5 metres long, is a scale scenes kit which I've adapted to obviously to give it the increased length. The lights on the platform are all LEDs and they work, and I've got my own signage that I've made, including platform clocks and destination screens there as well, along with some, if you see them there, parcel brute trolleys. Everything is kind of replicated in the 80s and 90s, so it kind of comes from that period, and I've tried to match in the you know, what you saw in Edinburgh around about that time. This part of the station, there's the parcel, the Red Star Parcel Sorting Centre. We've got all the trolleys and the post office vans, and just in front of that orange locomotive there, we've got a little substation, again with a worn kind of grassed area with litter and some bushes. This area here is the main booking office of the station. It's a kit which I've adapted to fit in the area that I need it. It's fully interiored and fully lit. It's a card structure with textured paper on it. The interiors upstairs have got passengers waiting in them, including sofas, TVs, bookshelves, and even if people are sitting there reading newspapers or whatever. At the right hand side of the building there, we've got the main taxi rank and car park, which I'll move on to now. Right, the car park area here, we've got, starting at the far end, we've got a telephone box and a post box. Moving along, we've got a pay and display machine with a wee beggar sitting next to asking for spare change. The cars in the car park are of the period, including some kind of novelty cars, if you like. We've got Herbie and stuff like that, and we've got the original Fiestas, Astras. We've got a Mark 1 GTI and that kind of stuff. Again, to replicate the 80s. Moving to the east of the station, looking at the back, we've got the two upper main lines with the back scene with the houses and trees, which nicely blends in. Moving forward, we've got the, I suppose, Aberdeen to London train sitting there at the main platform 6. Then we've got a loco in the kind of siding there. Moving further towards the car park, you can see just behind that maroon car there, you've got the grit bins, you've got a telephone cabinet. We've even got a granny chasing her grandson, hitting him over the head with a brolly. Car park's fully lit as well as the station, and it's got all the details and the markings for the parking bays. Okay, looking into the concourse area, you've got the information board, you've got passenger seating, you've got destination screens from red frames, you've got vending machines, ticket machines. You've also got just at the left hand side of the shot there, you'll see a kind of a ready footbridge, part of the footbridge anyway, going up and spanning the platforms to allow the passengers to access the inner platforms, and they again are fully populated with passengers. Moving east of the station, we've got this road bridge which obviously crosses the railway, and there's level crossing there which is fully functional with the lights, and the barriers don't move up and down, but certainly the lights and the buzzer sounds as well. We've got obviously traffic, we've got street signs, we've got bespoke made Dean Park station signs there. Even the buses have got Dean Park on the destination board there above the driver's window. WA lines, fully lit and fully detailed. In the background there, you'll see a building site, you'll see a couple of porter cabins there. They're fully lit and interioured with the builder, foreman and stuff in there as well. We've got a Dean Park Estates building development sign there. We've got the security fence in, which I'll take you in a wee bit closer to show you more of the detail just now. The building site area took around 3 months to complete, and it featured in a previous edition of Hornby magazine. The buildings are purchased. I didn't actually construct them myself. Everything else on the scene is either a laser cut kit that I buy from Scale Model Scenery and other accessories, or bits and pieces that I've acquired myself. If you look at the building site, starting at the left hand end beside the porter cabins, you've then got the transit van, which has actually got Watson's Roofing Company transfers on it. It's been given a bit of a dirty up. You've got a Portaloo there with the blue Portaloo. You then got piles of bricks and timber, and then if I move in a little bit closer, you've got piles of wood there, and you've got a foreman checking his plans just between the two houses. You've got behind him, there's a trench being dug, which when I show you the next view, you'll see the JCB digging that out. The fence going round it's actually got 3 wires, barbed wire at the top of it. That took me quite a while, just about here. Took me quite a while to feed all that through. It drove me mad, but it's authentic and it matches in with the scene. The actual rough ground is Blue Circle Postcrete, which I bought at B&Q, scattered it down, sealed it with glue, and it gives a nice kind of builder's yard, builder's site rough ground that's been obviously dug up. And there's some real piles of sand there just in front of the white van. Just quickly looking at the porter cabin, you've got the top left, you've got a man in the porter cabin, the foreman at his desk. You've got plans on the wall, you've also got plans on the table that are partly folded. In front of the porter cabin you've got some shovels and spades and picks, and then you've obviously got your equipment lined up with the forklift there, bags of aggregate, dumper truck, skip full of rubbish, bricks in pallets with tarpaulin on them, and you've also got the scaffolding with ladders and stuff for the workmen to get up to the top. This view here shows the weathered JCB that I've got with a driver in it, and it's digging out a trench, obviously for some drainage or something like that. Foreman standing looking on, and obviously you've got the building of the bungalow there with the extendable ladders leaning up against the scaffold. You've got bags of aggregate and blocks of bricks up on the scaffold as well. And here you can probably see the security fence a bit better with the 3 barbed wires along the top and fine mesh in between them. This is a laser cut kit from Scale Model Scenery. The main line here on the upper section has got electrified overhead masts and wiring. They were built by me with brass H-beam pillars, and that's all fine 0.4mm nickel wire which has been soldered. And I used a working drawing of the actual masts to get an idea how to put them together, and they obviously span my tracks, so they're all total custom built for this layout. From here you get a real sense of the length of the layout. It's 24 feet, and the baseboards are just shy of 3 foot wide along the sides. If I peer over here, you'll see the track coming from the tunnel, and that's the incline which takes the tracks from the bottom level up to the top. On the embankment here is a kind of little detailed part. I've got an old street sign and some disused tyres that have been slung over the side of the bridge. It's just little details like that that bring a scene to life, and it's really what I enjoy doing. I enjoy adding these finer details to something, including the overgrown grasses, different lengths of grasses, different tones, bald patches of grass, earth, bushes, along with varying tones of trees. So I just like to blend it all in, and I feel this, even this little tiny scene here, which is obviously litter being chucked over a bridge, adds to the whole thing, even though you can't actually see this from normal viewing. This area shows a disused siding with the buffer stop all rusted up. There's a kind of trolley being left on the tracks there. You've got the rusty rails, you've got the grass growing around everything, and bushes basically reclaiming the railway back for wildlife. There's another view of the disused siding. This siding took me about 2 or 3 weeks to actually just get all scenicked up, with the bushes and stuff. There's old sleepers, old pallets lying at the side of the rails. We've got this kind of Budley eye purple flowering weed that you see a lot of anywhere really on the railway sides, as well as in disused industrial areas. So we've tried to replicate that. The track's been covered by bushes and stuff. Obviously it's not got a clean head on the tracks, it's not been used for a while, so it's all rusted over. Trains won't run on this because it's not got a clean rail head. Obviously you can't get the power through the rails into the locomotive, but it's just a pure scenic part of the layout. I've got a kind of stepped wall here, and the area up here that's in grey just now, that'll be an industrial site later, builder's yard, builder's merchant or something like that. As the tracks curve away round, they go to one goes under a tunnel which goes under the tracks, and the other one goes under a industrial facility I'll show you just now. Okay, moving round, we've got a training facility here above the railway there, above the girder there, which has been rusted and worn. Obviously you can see the rust starting to speckle through it. There was a video I did that ages ago, so I'll put the link at the end of the video. All the walls on this section are scratch built. We're using an MDF frame with a thin MDF 2mm covering, which allows me to curve it, and then I've attached the card brickwork, if you like, to it, and then made all the parts out of plastic to bring all the wall together. The scene up to the top left there is a kind of substation trackside. It's just a kit on the left, all the kind of electrical stuff, just a kit, and then I've used a ready plant substation building there. All this here is either scratch built or kit built, which I'll focus in on soon. This area here is a signal and telecommunications centre, just basically for training up the railside workers. We've got a big kind of classroom or office, if you like, there for them. You've then got a storeroom, and to the right you've got a mock-up track area with all the parts that you would find at the line side of a track for obviously assessing and training up the engineers. The car park there has got areas that have been patched up. You've got the dividing lines between the car parking spaces, which have been painted on. You've got paving, curb, which obviously sits higher than the tarmac, fully lit. The buildings have got interiors. We've got cars and vans of the period, and security fencing, which has all been in place and weathered down. And if I take you around to the other side, I'll show you some more of the details as well. Okay, looking in on this area from a different angle, we've got all the details at the entrance. We've got drain covers which are set in. We've got potholes. We've got water hydrants with the drain cover. We've got a fire hydrant with the cover there. We've got my own signage that I made. This is the static grass I was talking about, textured grass. And we've got the security fence obviously going round. We've got red chips in here for walking on, and all the signage and equipment that the trainees would need. Okay, looking behind the training facility, you've got yard junk there. You've got old pallets, sleepers, old speed signs, coils of wire, a little kind of electrical box there, a gate that's linking these two areas together. Obviously you can't just wander in for security reasons. The yellow painted things in between the track, just at the right hand side of the shot there, they are AWS warning, and that's just for driver alerts for signals. But again, it's a wee dummy thing just to add a bit of detail and realism to match it in with the real life railway. Looking up at the back there, we've got the mini caravan park, or part of a caravan park it's to replicate, and the static ones are there. We've got picnic benches. We've got small steps that are made even to get into the caravans. The caravans are fully lit. We've got trees that blend in with the back scene there, going right the way round. And we've even got, standpipes and fire extinguishers, fire hydrants, fire buckets and stuff like that there as well. This little cameo here shows 3 trackside workers trying to lever open a manhole cover. And just at the back of the workers there, you can see a couple of rusty steel coils that have been left behind from the electrification process. You might get a sense of the static grass here and the texture in it with the heights, and there's some purple flowering weeds just behind the workers as well. Adding these little scenes really does individualise your layout. Nobody else has got these little scenes. It's really down to your imagination. Here we've got a plan view really of the caravan park. You'll see the gravel paths that I've put in place and different lengths of grass going from closely mown around about the caravans to longer grass towards the fence, and then you've got all the bushes as well. Little details that I've managed to add in here are a bike that's been thrown over the fence and it's just left rusting away there, wonky handlebars and wheels. Here I'm taking a look down at one of the cuttings with the retaining wall that's all been scratch built by myself, and it ties in nicely with the back scene. As you can see, the bushes and stuff on the top of the wall tying it into the grassy back scene. There's a ladder at the right hand side there allowing the workmen to get down to track level. You'll see the train passing now. It's passing a workman with an orange vest on there at one of the relay boxes. That's been opened up and there's actually detail inside that, and it's on a small platform as well. That kit's from scalemodelscenery.co.uk, and he's even got his workman pal there keeping an eye out. All the usual details are there, cable trunk at the side of the track, speed signs. I've got the overhead masts there for the electric trains, all kind of condensed in a small scene. Okay, looking quickly at this scene, obviously the top level's not been completed yet. Scenically, the ballast is stopped and the weathering of the tracks, that'll continue in the next few weeks. Where the training facility is, the edge just kind of drops off a cliff there to the tracks below. That'll all be boxed in with walling and a girder bridge as well, just like at the other side. And in the front of the raised area will be a long retaining wall which will be over 3.5 metres long when completed. Looking at this section here, we've got the depot office which I designed and made myself. It's got fully detailed interior along with Venetian blinds on the windows, even the roof, for example, the flat roof construction. You know, I've managed to recreate all of that. It's sitting on tarmac, which I've just modelled just now out of plaster with different tones of grey paint sponged on to a kind of random finish. And there's obviously, as you can see at the right hand side of the car park area, there's some potholes. That'll all be blended in as part of the depot scene. Okay, looking at the centre of the depot, we've got these two ready to plant Bachmann train sheds, and they're sitting on scratch built concrete hard standing that I did. Along the back, in front of the back scene, will be low relief buildings, so it'll be, you know, given a busy kind of depot appearance. And the two tanks there, which won't be there eventually, but they're sitting there just now, they were built by me, so we'll have a closer look at them in a minute or two. Okay, along to the other end of the depot, we've got all the locos sitting just now. Where the locos are sitting at the back there, there's a big two-lane engine shed which is 600mm long, which is from Railway Laser Lines, which I covered in a previous video, so you want to check that one out. The link is at the top of the screen. We've got the local wash there at the front, and we've got a fueling point at the back there, as you can see, all the oily spills on the concrete, just to give it a used appearance. Okay, these two fuel tank areas, the vertical one there has been built from a Nightwing kit, but I did all the walling, and I also added in some pipe work as well. Some of the pipe work's just lying in there just now, it's got to get moved, but as you can see the intricate detail that I've added in there with the gravel, and even made some steps as well. That's to be positioned on the layout and all kind of tied into the scene. The tanks at the back there, very similar construction with the wall and the gravel. Obviously any fuel tanks have got to be enclosed in this wall area in case of a rupture in the tank, so it doesn't flood the whole area. All the fuel spill is contained within the wall. I've even got the rusting, streaky rust effect on the vertical tanks there, and they've all been given a kind of grimy, in-use, weathered appearance through my airbrush. Okay, to complete the loop, this is the final part of the layout that will get scenic attention, if you like. There'll be a kind of town scene in the raised section at the right. Not sure what's going to be in the middle section yet, and the back scene's still white, but that'll be covered with the self-adhesive back scenes that I've used on the previous parts of the layout. Okay, I've lifted the camera up now and looking over into the storage area, which is off scene at the back of the layout, and this is all linked, so any train in the storage area can get to any part of the layout, up or down level. And obviously if I want trains to run into the storage area, they can run in there to be stored, or all the way through to separate parts of the layout, so I can actually use it as part of the layout, albeit off scene. It's controlled by the points, they're all controlled through my main control switch, and also it's got CCTV, so I can see it from the comfort of my seat and not have to crawl under all the time. Okay, just to finish off, I've got my control centre here with my ESU command station. Those of you who know the hobby know that that's one of the best ones on the market. You'll pay a premium for it, but it really does so much more than just control the trains. You can control practically anything with it. Behind that you've got the two CCTV screens, and I can control or view 4 cameras from those 2 screens. So it allows me really to do everything from this area, switch the point, switch on the lights, and control the trains. You know, it is really the ultimate command station. Well, that's pretty much it for the layout tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to see a cab ride view, the link to that video will be at the end. If you've not already done so, please click on the subscribe button and click on the like icon. And if you click on the notification bell, you'll get notifications when I upload future videos. Any questions, please do get in touch. Cheers just now.